Gentlemen, welcome to another week and another fun cocktail. As you can probably see by the array in front of me here, this is a pretty fun, somewhat complicated drink, but it's a cocktail that you all should be able to make if you've got all the bottles that I recommended and accoutrement. So I think it's one that everyone's going to really enjoy. And if you don't, tough shit. All right. Oh, let me see here. I'm sorry, I've got to pull up. I got questions this week, which I've got to answer, of course, because what kind of cocktail cocktail video maker would I be if I weren't kindly answering questions? Sorry. Not a very nice person. I don't know why I said that. I'm very nice. All right, so it's a fun week. We're getting into the real fall weather. I don't know what it's like in Des Moines or Washington, D.C. or Madison, Wisconsin or Los Angeles, California, but up here in Minnesota, it's getting kind of chilly. Got the sweater on. And so on this blustery fall day, I figured a fine reminder of good warm weather would be a nice tiki drink. So, gentlemen, I give you tonight the classic Mai Tai. Chances are you've all had a Mai Tai. If you have, chances are it's just been cheap rum and some sort of mix, and have fun. This is kind of the version that I'm printing. The recipe above my shoulder is the simplified version of the Trader Vic's classic from the 40s. The one I'm gonna make is it's a little more complicated, just because I have everything you need. But you know, just because I have extra bottles doesn't mean you guys need to. So don't worry about that. All right, so this drink has a lot of fresh juice, and as such, we will be using a shaker, cocktail shaker. Let's get started with the drink, and while we're doing that, I can answer questions, but also explain what I'm doing with the cocktail and such. So, first question I'm going to answer is from Brian. His question is, what's your go-to wedding open bar cocktail, i.e. spirit plus one mixer? This is a very good question. It's a very tough question. When I was younger, I was a big fan of just like a classic rum and coke or whiskey and diet, which are all fine options, I suppose, if that's what you want. That's a mixed drink, though, not a cocktail. As I got older, though, a gin and tonic is a pretty nice one, and I think you can get that at most open bars. And that's usually, they usually have a decent gin and tonic, and that's all you need, But I really think my favorite just 2-ingredient cocktail is scotch and soda. Most weddings have, mid-level, maybe slightly lower scotch. But you put a couple ounces of that with just like a big scoop of really cold ice and, 5 or 6 ounces of spark of really, really fizzy, just like good club soda or good, sparkling water. And if they have a lemon peel, all the better. It's a drink that I make a lot at home. I don't use my good scotch, but I have bottles of cocktail scotch, I guess you could call it. Scotch that I use in cocktails and stuff, I don't mind. And I'll just mix that up with some club soda and a little lemon twist sometimes. And it's really easy and it's really, really good. So that's my go-to, I'd say, at an open bar. All right, one question down. Let's actually tackle the cocktail recipe, shall we? We'll start with 1/4 ounce of orgeat. I know Nick was saying that he wanted to get rid of his, so 1/4 ounce isn't going to do it, but maybe if you make a few of these, bud, try not to overdo it with the orgeat. It's a very specific flavor. I don't know how many tiki drinks you've all made. at home before. I think most people, when they think tiki drinks, they think like blended strawberry daiquiris, you know, but you know, it's a very important part of a cocktail culture, tiki drinks. You know, they kind of they took over in the 40s and 50s when people were just kind of getting back from, you know, post World War II and just kind of getting back into entertaining and stuff. And I think, yeah, a lot of people really enjoyed the, I think they pull, you know, a lot of people served during the war in Pacific areas and stuff and tropical areas. And they brought the taste for things like lime juice and rum back, you know. So it's kind of fun every once in a while to bust out some tiki stuff. So after that, we'll do a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. That's a lot of sweet. That's what happens with a tiki drink, but that's why I really, if you're gonna make a drink like a Mai Tai or like an old school daiquiri or something, I think it's best to really do it from the original recipes and not use like mixes and stuff, because that's where you just get that really saccharine, like overly sweet cocktail that's just not very pleasant. But if you're doing it all from scratch and stuff, it's just a lot better. Plus you can alter everything you put in there to how you want it, you know. So after that, it's 1/2 ounce of orange caracal or whatever orange liqueur you happen to have at home. How much was that, did I say? 1/2 ounce? Good. I should memorize this stuff, huh? That's nice. I think another question I got was Nick, who hasn't watched baseball all year, wanted to know what happened to the Braves, the Parvs. Oh, the poor Braves. The injury stick happened to the Braves. A big time injury stick. All right. After that, we're going to do 3/4 ounce of lime juice, which I have right here, freshly squeezed prior to the video. And then, it says 2 ounces aged rum. This could be any rum that you guys have. I know when I made the list last year, I think I mentioned light rum, just because I didn't necessarily want everyone to go out and spend the extra money if they didn't have to. But any rum you have is good, you know. I think dark rum maybe is preferable just because of the flavor, but I think it doesn't matter what kind you use. Now here's where I'm going to switch up from the instructions. And you'll see in the note in the instructions that they say most bartenders will fine-tune this by blending 2 or more types of rum. So this was the first recipe of a Mai Tai I ever made, and then I enjoyed it, and I kind of explored the whole Mai Tai and the history, and Trader Vic versus Beachcomber Don, who was the other kind of big tiki drink guy. And they kind of had like, it was a really like trade secrets, you know, like Trader Vic had his own like Mai Tai, like he had all these different recipes for these tiki drinks that he like he didn't let anyone, like he was the only guy in the bar who knew how to make some of these drinks. Like he refused to let even his regular bartenders know all the ingredients and stuff, because he didn't want Beachcomber Don, Don the Beachcomber, whatever he called himself, to get it. So it's kind of interesting little fun history if you want to read into that. But in doing that research, I discovered that a lot of recipes call for, instead of 2 ounces of aged rum, it's 1 ounce aged rum and 1 ounce lighter rum. And so I've got my 2 normal rums, my Florida Cana, which is what I use for my light rum, and then the Real McCoy. That's what I use for my aged rum. So I'm going to do that 1 ounce of each of those. And then another thing that a lot of people do is they float 1/2 ounce of rum on top of the drink after it's all finished, which is what I've got my spiced rum for, my Captain Morgan. So it's a little more complicated that way. If you just want to stick with the recipe as it says up there, 2 ounces of rum and that's that, go for it. It's still going to be really good. But so after explaining that, I can explain what happened to the Braves for poor Nick. And what happened was everyone got hurt. The reigning MVP, Acuna, blew out his knee at the beginning of the year. It was out for the whole season. Spencer Strider, the odds-on favorite to win Cy Young this year in the National League, blew out his elbow in spring and has missed the whole season. Austin Riley, their very talented third baseman, got hurt about halfway through the year, a little more than halfway through the year. Wasn't there for the playoffs. Even the current favorite for Cy Young in the NL, Chris Sale, who they got for a bag of baseballs from Boston, and just he somehow found the fountain of youth or something and put up one of the most spectacular pitching seasons of his very spectacular career. He threw out his back or something just before the wild card started, so he wasn't available to start a game. I mean, the fact that the Braves were as successful as they were with all these injuries, even their other starting pitchers were just getting hurt left and right or ineffective because of injury. I'm actually pretty impressed they made it as far as they did. So, you know, you can only deal use the deal that was handed to you. Jesus Christ, the hand that was dealt to you, man. Not much of a card player, huh? All right, folks, so I've got all the ingredients in there. I'm going to pause for a second to go get some ice, and then I'll come back and finish the cocktail. And I'm back. Ice in my shaker, crushed ice in my glass. This is a cocktail that you strain over crushed ice, like a lot of tiki drinks. So I'll shake this up real quick and answer the last question after that. All right, this should be good enough. Delicious. Oh, this is a cocktail that I don't make all that often, I'll be honest, but I sure enjoy it when I do. Strain that bad boy into this glass full of crushed ice. Oh, I spilled some. Nice, and then get a little half-ounce float on there. As you guys have probably floated things before. Usually you can use like a spoon or something. I'm just gonna kind of gently pour it over the top here. And of course, you've got to have a nice lime wheel if you're making a tiki drink. I wish I had an umbrella. I don't, but and my lime wheel is pretty pathetic, isn't it? But it is what it is. Cheers, gentlemen. If that doesn't scream sunning on the beach, then I don't know what does. Certainly I don't. All right, I do have one last question to answer from an absurd question from an absurd man. Casey Everett wants to know, as an Iowa fan, how does it feel to know that Big Ten is actively destroying college football? Whoa, that's a big question. Big accusations. I'll just say I don't think Big Ten is. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff going on with what the Big Ten's doing, or just the general chasing of money that teams are doing involving the Big Ten. But I mean, I think deep down that's what's destroying college football. It's the money stuff. Like it's, take it with a grain of salt from a socialist who would like to get money out of a lot of things. But yeah, the way they're doing it now, it's just everything's such a blatant cash grab. When you throw in all the like gambling, legalized sports gambling that's going on now, and every single commercial for every sport in the middle of games is for some sort of gambling. It's pretty obnoxious. Somebody made a joke after Pete Rose died about like, to honor the great Pete Rose, type in Rose promo code for your betting needs. Like it's man who got kicked out of the hall for gambling. It's kind of funny, but I think this NIL stuff's garbage. It's just half measures. At this point, there's no reason. I mean, there's no avoiding paying football players in college. I think going strictly to just paying them, like straight up making salaries. Maybe have a salary cap to help limit spending, so that teams like Alabama and Georgia can't outspend every other college and win all the time. But it's unfortunate. But I think it's that door's been opened a long time ago. I think once players saw the kind of money that the sport was making for all the universities and all the different conferences and stuff, that wasn't going to go away anytime soon. So I don't know if it would help to do that, but I don't blame the Big Ten necessarily. I think it's a whole lot of other stuff. So there's your funny answer, Casey, for a fun question. Well, folks, even Creed, who I hope to demolish and continue my winning ways, fuck you. Even you, though, I hope you enjoy a nice Mai Tai. I do, like I said, I recommend making it yourself. It's a lot better than using a mix. But even if you use a mix or just order at a bar and however they make it, pretend you're in the sun and the beach, kicking back. Doesn't get any better than that, right, folks? All right, guys. Cheers, and have a nice weekend. See you next time.